Marathon launched, hit a big Steam peak. Then the numbers dipped and a dev decided to clap back at the people tracking it, calling them unemployed virgins. Live service games don't die from bad gunplay anymore. They die from vibes, charts, and corporate panic. Look, I get it. Imagine pouring years into a game, watching people reduce it to a single number on SteamDB, then calling it dead, while your servers are literally on fire from activity. That would make anyone snap. You can tell I'm not AI because an AI would actually know how to stay on script. Still, you can't do the I'm just being real thing and pretend it's harmless. Calling your most obsessive audience maidenless is funny for exactly 5 seconds, then it becomes a brand problem. Because the people you insult, those are the people making videos, writing guides, running communities, and dragging their friends in. So, what is it? Honest transparency? Or a PR suicide mission? It's emotional self-defense dressed up as based. Great for a quote tweet, horrible for a live service game that needs goodwill like oxygen. Perfect. No notes. 0 ways this could blow up. Here's the deal. Marathon drops. People check Steam charts like it's the EKG monitor of their childhood. Peak lands in that respectable, but not world-ending range. Then the line goes down later, because of course it does. Normal humans sleep, eat, and occasionally step outside. Suddenly, Reddit starts doing that thing where it talks like the game is already buried in a shallow grave behind a GameStop. And right on cue, a Bungie senior designer, Dylan Snyder, sees the player count watchers and goes full medieval. Unemployed virgins. Maidenless. Buddy. That's not community engagement, that's you speedrunning a PR incident. Now let's talk about why this got so spicy so fast. The Concord shadow, why 70,000 players isn't enough. People hear Sony live service and immediately taste bile. You remember Concord, right? Sony's live service faceplant. A game that showed up, got laughed at, and got shoved into a locker in what felt like 10 minutes. That failure is the ghost at Bungie's dinner table now. So when Marathon hits a strong peak, like genuinely decent, and then dips to lower daily lows, the community doesn't go normal launch curve. They go, oh no, it's happening again. 70k or 90k concurrent is great if you're a small studio. Bungie is not a small studio. Bungie is an 800-person machine with Sony money stapled to its forehead. That kind of payroll doesn't get covered by pretty good for Steam. That payroll demands this thing prints money while asleep. You see the math problem. Players see it too. That's why every little drop feels like a death rattle. The $40 landmine was free to play the only way. Extraction shooters live and die on population. That genre needs bodies. Not some. A lot. You need enough players to keep matchmaking healthy, keep the mid-skill crowd fed, and stop the sweats from farming toddlers like it's a charity event. Bungie charges $40. That instantly splits the room. One side goes good, no F2P grind to win garbage. The other side goes, why am I paying $40 to be loot pirated by a guy named Spleen Collector? Meanwhile, the competitors are out here playing pricing hopscotch. Arc Raiders pivoted from free-to-play to paid too, sure, but it's also sitting in that genre darling spot. Apex exists as a free monster that eats attention like it's breathing. So, did $40 kill day one hype? Or did it save the game from becoming a microtransaction landfill? It filters tourists, but it also filters potential long-term casuals, the exact people Marathon needs if it wants stable numbers. After the launch sugar rush fades, the emergency patch gamble, can Bungie save the weekend? Okay, now we get to the release now. Fix later tradition, gaming's favorite disease. Players complain about UI readability. Complaints stack up about brutal AI. Visuals get called an eyesore. The community basically says I can't see, I can't heal, and the robots are bullying me. So Bungie teases early patchwork, stuff aimed at smoothing pain points fast. Better objective marker visibility. More ammo in starter kits. More med cabinets and munition spawns in certain areas. That kind of please stop bleeding out in the first hour tuning. And here's why it's a gamble. A patch like that either reassures everyone, okay, they're listening, or it proves the critics right, they shipped it raw and hoped you'd pay to beta test. Miss this window, and you know what happens. People don't wait and see. They go back to Destiny 2. They go back to Tarkov. They go back to literally anything else, with a stable routine. Live service loyalty is a myth, convenience wins. Steam charts. The modern day horror movie for devs. Steam charts are the new jump scare genre. One little dip, and suddenly you've got DOA posts popping off like popcorn. People act like concurrent players is the single holy metric of fun. It's not. Plenty of games survive with smaller, stable communities. The finals got memed as dead for ages, and it kept trucking. Niche multiplayer can live a long time if the population is consistent and matchmaking works. But Bungie fans, different breed. Destiny players have been traumatized by content droughts, delays, and corporate nonsense. They don't see normal fluctuation, they see Sony is sharpening the axe. So, every chart becomes a horror movie. The monster isn't a zombie, it's a downward line. Now let's address the neon elephant in the room. Marathon has this maximalist, high-contrast, stylized visual identity. Some people love it. Some people feel like they're being flash-banged by a bag of Skittles. Here's the real issue. Style is cute until it hits gameplay. If you can't read the UI at a glance, that's not unique, that's friction. If you can't clearly spot enemies in a competitive extraction shooter, that's not art direction, that's a design failure wearing a cool jacket. Bungie built a reputation on clean visual language, Halo readability, Destiny silhouettes, that you always know what you're looking at polish. So, when players call Marathon's UI confusing, and the visuals an eyesore, it lands harder. Because it's Bungie. This is the studio that's supposed to be world-class at this stuff. You can't flex style while your players squint like they're reading legal terms on a microwave. Now about Destiny Exodus. Did Bungie kill their golden goose? Time for the family drama. Destiny 2 players look at Marathon and go, oh, so TAS where the resources went. That resentment is real. Years of Destiny ups and downs, then Bungie goes all in on a new live service project under Sony, and suddenly Marathon becomes the scapegoat for every content lull, and every disappointment Destiny fans swallowed. So you get this split reality. Steam buyers are leaving very positive reviews. Meanwhile, Metacritic gets hammered with angry user scores. Review bombing, counter-reviewing, console war nonsense. The result is a toxic fog where nobody agrees what's even happening. Great gain game. Corporate scam. Hidden gem. Depends which platform you're doom scrolling. And that's brutal for momentum. Because perception is half the product now. The Rook shell is solo play the secret weapon. Here's a genuinely interesting part. Bungie trying to make extraction less punishing. Enter the Rook concept, solo-friendly, lower-stakes gameplay. A mode or shell designed to help players who don't want to queue into a 3-stack of sweatlords with matching clan tags and emotional emptiness. Extraction shooters are famous for being hostile to casuals. They're basically anxiety simulators with guns. So, Bungie's angle is clear, broaden the funnel. Let solo players progress without getting instantly deleted. Hardcore players of course start screaming. It's ruining the identity. Extraction is supposed and dental surgery is supposed to hurt too, but we still invented anesthesia. Making the onboarding less miserable doesn't kill hardcore identity, it just stops the casual majority from uninstalling before they learn the map. Rook might be the smartest move in the entire package if Bungie balances it right and doesn't turn the whole game into a comfy loot daycare. The toxicity loop our critics actually maidenless. Now we're back to the vibes. The Marathon subreddit is doing Civil War cosplay. Half the posts are stop doomposting. The other half are stop gaslighting the game has issues. Mods crack down. People accuse them of censorship. Then the reaction crowd says, look, they're hiding the truth. Then defenders say, no, you're hate watching. Here's the ugly truth, modern gaming culture rewards negativity. Doom gets clicks. Rage gets engagement. This game is dying videos outperform this patch helped videos almost every time. So Marathon becomes the latest target in the content grinder. Every dip is a dunk. Every dev reply is a scandal. Every hotfix is too late. Are some critics just farming drama? Absolutely. Are some defenders inhaling copium through a garden hose? Also yes. Calling everyone maidenless won't fix it, it just feeds the loop. Bungie's last stand. What happens if Marathon flops? Now zoom out, big picture. Corporate lens. Cold sweat. Sony paid almost $4 billion for Bungie. That's not we believe in your art, that's we expect a pipeline of revenue and expertise. Sony's live service push has already taken hits. Layoffs happened. Studios got closed. Big bets got buried. Bluepoint, Firewalk, names with real talent, still ended up on the chopping block when the strategy shifted. So, Marathon launching now. That wasn't just a release date, that was a deadline with a knife behind it. Delays already haunted this thing. The industry has zero patience. Sony has even less. If Marathon underperforms long-term, Bungie's independence inside Sony starts looking like decorative wording on a press release. That's why the community is edgy. That's why the Steam chart watchers are feral. That's why one dev's insult hits like a match near gasoline. Because this isn't just new Bungie shooter. It's Bungie's proof of life inside a corporate machine that will absolutely cut losses if the spreadsheet says so. So, where does that leave us? Marathon isn't dead. It's also not safe. The launch numbers are strong enough to matter. The drop is real enough to scare people. The UI complaints are loud enough to demand action. The price tag is high enough to filter the audience. The community mood is fragile enough that one spicy tweet can become the headline for the whole week. And that's the funniest part. Not the unemployed virgins line. Not the maidenless meme. The funniest part is watching a modern live service game fight for survival against the most powerful enemy in gaming. Not cheaters. Not balance. Not content drought. A downward line on a chart and the swarm of people who treat it like gospel. So yeah, keep watching the patches. Watch the player retention. Watch how fast Bungie improves readability and tuning. Watch whether the Rook funnel actually keeps solos playing. Then watch the internet pretend it predicted everything. Now, go tell your friend to stop refreshing Steam DB like it's a stock portfolio. You're not an analyst, you're just stressed.